Crimson Throne. Very, very much a fall of a kingdom itself. Much like you think you know. I mean, anyone who's ever played it knows how much of a far and few extensively valued it is. Well, starts out with everyone's favorite person in the world meeting your lovely ghost friend, Zalara Esmeralda. Or Esmeralda. Esmeranda. Spelling of words. She invites you to her home, offering you a nice, lovely helpfulness. Seek out the dastardly Gadrin, a man who's supposed to be startup villain for you. Which, bizarrely, I don't know how exactly he stayed himself so far out of the law's eyes, but I guess the lovely Corrosian guards are bad at their job, or busy enough that they don't know the difference. Starting journey of good old Grimjow Maleficent, also known as the Greatest. Later formidable wizard, starting as a drug-crazed man himself. Bit of the only time I've ever played a character who's evil enough to still do good things. But he's got plenty of problems in himself. Met along with his very few friends, the Drow noble of the Drow noble, inheriting the war priest standards, the loveliness of, I don't remember what the monk was. I guess he was probably human. I don't remember. I could have to ask at this point. There was the paladin, of course. You always got to have a paladin in your good aligned groups. Of course, that man got himself in so many different troubles he didn't know he was going for. And last but not least, the lovely samurai dragon folk. Or Weavern, or Ryvern. What they're called. I don't know. We called him Lizard Lips by the end. We also called him the Child Puncher. He was very good at child punching. Starting out our day, we meet up. We find out the lovely history. Given an awesome description of where the heck we're supposed to be going. Finding out Gadrin's lovely hideout. Which, the very obvious drug den of a fishery sitting out there. And from there, we're offered a very small prediction of our future, which isn't really helpful considering how much it turned out not so accurate. Either way, we headed off towards our lovely fishery. As we arrive in the greatest way possible, and we're not exactly well known for it, but we're generous enough to knock in the door. And of course, the doors are shut, so that got smashed down. Because we're not considerate enough to care if the door is there or not. Hence, you meet the first and loveliest first person that entered the room. Lovely Yargan, the elf with the wand up top there. Trying and failing as we beat him unconscious. Actually, yeah, beat him unconscious. He did not put up much of a fight. Much less did he finally find out how much dragons beat wizards at that point. Let's see, from here we headed off to the left straight into the lovely, I guess the feeding area for the crocodile or shark. I don't know which one actually feeds in that area, to be fair with you. Pretty sure it's the shark. In which we proceeded to run into the halfling himself, I believe. Oh no, it's a gnome. My bad. The gnome, Lookshank Grueler, and proceeded to watch the dragon just poof, 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 unconscious every one of the children in that room. Like that man wandered off. That man wandered off on his own, towards the north and just started punching children. And he got to meet his good friend Giggles, who proceeded to get his teeth punched in. And so far, it was going pretty well. We started looting around. We found the secret hidey hole in the basement where children sleep. Ah, good times when you get to find out your new home. And slowly watching children get punched out by I think he was like 7'6" towering dragon lizard. He was getting himself just boom, 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 and just unconsciousing everyone. From there, we figured out that Gadrin was not here. He had hidden himself away. So, we traveled the outer skirts there and watered it down. And lo and behold, the one with wings decides he needs to fall in the water. In which case, he ran into... I don't think it actually had a name or anything specific, but he ran into the jigsaw shark. And proceeded to punch it in the nose and send it flying. And then proceeded to spin several turns trying to fly up and fail. Proceededly climbing up instead. For which then we entered the lovely boat. And we find out the lovely boat is infested with spiders. Upon opening the door and stepping in, a whole bunch just fell from the ceiling. And then proceeded to get smushed. They were almost reassuringly not challenging. Reaching the bottom, we climb into the bottom one. And seeing as we already punched the shark out, we didn't have to even worry about that man coming back the second time. We go down, we find a hatch. And, well, turns out we're not quite as good at opening doors as we'd hoped. Finding the lovely circular hatch, and then we get someone to pry it open very, very slowly, because that was fun. Stepping in to find out there's a lovely pathing. But inside that lovely pathing is a delicious, delicious alligator just sitting in the pit. And lo and behold, there's Gadrin himself. Making our way across, watching once again an alligator now getting punched in the nose by a 7-foot lizard and wrestled in the water. Thankfully, our monk was oddly enough as an archer, so his bowmanship was well appreciated while we traveled across. And enough spells flinging out with my lovely restrictions into being just flinging magic missiles at things. The funness of being a force wizard early on. Don't have to roll them hit dice. But I also only own like 3 spells, so that was kind of very shortly changed. But the luxury of my crossbow, striking the last hit and critting. Gadrin now pinned against the wall, bleeding out and dying, cursing his own travel track. As we searched his room, finding what the Greatest knows is his favorite thing in the world. Well, for now at least. Up until he finds out some other fun traveling in the bandits' territories. But we find the lovely drugs. And taking Gadrin's body off the lovely wall from the crossbow bolt, turning him in to get the reward from the guards themselves, and taking his stash of pesh he had hidden away. Sadly, could not get my hands on it, for the monk has told me no, and has slapped my hands that day. Because those would have been mine, and I would have been yeeked. Because the Greatest takes no man's share. And heading back to the lovely guard's house, we go and solve problems. Needless to say, we will see Gadrin soon enough, because he will make his way back into the process. As not knowing goes. But this was merely the start of the Greatest's adventure, in a world he didn't know he would want to enjoy. And his further steps to becoming king. Either way, that was just simply the start of the Greatest's adventure. Otherwise, I will see you next time in the continuation of the Greatest's greatest adventurer. Bye bye!